Hey guys, it's Justin Weens back with College Fishing 101. Kind of a little behind the scenes action going on today. I've got a fishing tournament this weekend, a kayak fishing tournament, with the kayak or the Coleman kayak anglers. This is one of our trail tournaments. We have about 8 tournaments a season, and this is stop number 4 on our season this year. We're on Lewis Smith Lake, a lake that is really close to me actually, about a 30-minute drive away, and I have never actually fished it. I've only been on this lake like twice, maybe 3 times in my entire life. I knew about it, knew some stuff about it. I knew it's a deep lake. I know it's more of a spotted lake than it is a largemouth lake. And I've fished a lot of lakes very similar to it. There's one very close to me that a lot of people call Mini Smith because it's such a similar lake to Smith Lake. But I was just going to kind of give y'all a kind of a behind the scenes look of how I plan for fishing tournaments, how I set up all my gear. I got all my tackle and all my plastics and all that stuff sitting over here on the side. I got my Flambeau Tough Crate sitting over here, and I'm going to kind of give you all a behind the scenes look of how I assess what I'm going to do fishing before I even get out in the water, because for me fishing is a lot more than just going out and throwing a lure. It's planning, making decisions days if not weeks in before advance. That way I have a productive day on the water. This is a pre-fish. I'm pre-fishing for this tournament. The tournament's not until Saturday. As of right now, it is Tuesday. So I'm going to go out and pre-fish tomorrow afternoon after class, and hopefully get a decent idea. The main problem with this tournament this week is there's not a lot of launches, and I'm not used to that. I'm used to mostly fishing Lake Gonersville up in Scottsboro and that area, and fishing a lot of backwaters where normally I can get I know where several launches are where I can go fish certain areas if I want to. And with this one, I'm limited to about 6 launches. So, and they are spread all across this lake, and this lake is looking to be, I've got it pulled up right here on my laptop. This lake's looking to be about probably 40 miles wide, if not bigger than that. So I don't want to have to launch at one area, turn out that my fishing there is not productive, and then have to pack all my stuff and make a 1-hour drive to a different spot. So that's why I'm going to be going through all this tonight before I even get close to getting to the water. That way I have a general idea what to do, where I want to fish, how I want to fish, what I want to fish, and what to fish, meaning what kind of fish can I fish for. So the first thing I always do is, I got the laptop pulled right here. I don't want to show anything for copyright reasons, so I'll try to hide as much stuff as I can. But the first thing I always do is I always just Google boat launches. So right now, I turn this light off. I've got, see if this will focus, yeah. I just Googled boat launches on Smith Lake, and I'm seeing 2 down here, 3 down here, 1 way over here, 1 way up here, 2 up top, and then a couple over here on the side. So that's the first thing I do. I look at those boat launches and see where I can fish. We have a rule where it has to be a public launch. It can't be somebody's backyard, even if they're a part of the club. So I got to see where I can even launch at. We do approve launching at bridges and stuff, but when you're carrying a 40 pounds of gear on top of an 85-pound kayak down a steep slope, that's something you don't want to do, and definitely getting back up. So I don't like launching at bridges. I will if I have to, but I don't like doing that, so I like finding an actual launch. And I just feel more safe about my truck and stuff like that when I have it parked. So once I have an idea of where these launches are at, I will switch right over here to a satellite view. Right now this is the dam of Smith Lake. Give it a good zoom in on that, that way everybody can actually see it. This is the dam on Smith Lake, so I know there's a launch right here. So I'm just kind of looking at what my options are. With a kayak, I try to keep my range about a mile and a half away from the launch, and that's really easy to do. You just go over here to the distance setting, wherever it's at. I know how to do it on my phone. Using the computer is a little bit different. And you measure the distance. And I know from using my phone that from here, from the dam to this first point is a mile, give or take. So I'm looking at that area. Is there anything I want to fish right there? And honestly, I'm not all that impressed with it. There's not a lot of boat houses. There's a lot of points, but they're all close to the dam, and I don't feel confident in this area. So I'm gonna scroll up here to where I know the next launch is at, and the next launch is up here at this river crossing. Now this river crossing up here, when it loads, is the big bridge. Everybody knows it, everybody calls it that, and there's a marina right here. So that's where I have to assess if that's where I want to fish at and how I want to fish there. And that's more than likely what I'm going to do. I'm going to launch at this marina because there's a lot more boat launches over here. There's a lot less points, but I feel like there's a lot better chance that I can actually be able to find something. So that's one place I'll look for. And once I figure out where I feel like fishing, the next thing I'm going to do is how to fish. Now, we don't have a rule where you can't take information from people, and I know some people do. I'm also a part of the UAH fishing team, the University of Alabama in Huntsville, and I know that up to a week before the tournament, we're not allowed to get information from guides or stuff, so we have to get all our information beforehand. So the first thing I do is, since I'm allowed to use it, I just Googled Smith Lake fishing reports, May 2019, because it's May 14th right now, so we're in the middle of May. And I'll look at this year's fishing reports, I'll look at last year's, and I'll look at 2 years ago. Now, I don't like going back more than about 2 years because a lot of stuff's changed in the last 2 years. And most of the time, the stuff that was last year isn't even reliable. So I'm reading the first fishing report, and the first thing that I'm seeing pop up is topwater. So I'm gonna keep a topwater box in my car, or my tackle box. Now luckily that's one thing I always have in my box, so I don't have to assess for that. But it's looking at what this particular fishing report says, that they were hitting topwater, soft plastic jerk baits, which are flukes, and spinner baits and buzz baits. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to make sure I have a lot of flukes packed. That's not something I normally keep in my tackle box. I'm more of a stick bait style fisherman and a drop shot and shaky head kind of fisherman. So I'm going to have to add some flukes into my bag for tomorrow. So I'm just going to go to the next one. And if they're hitting soft plastic jerk baits, they're probably going to be hitting regular jerk baits. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the regular jerk baits in there. Let's see what this next fishing report says, and be able to give another idea of what I need to be throwing. This one is from February, so that's not really all that reliable, but that's what I do. I just kind of sort through there and figure out what I need. I know I've talked to a lot of guys that live next to this lake that fish it all the time, and I'm taking their information and knowing what I need to add. So once I get all of this done on the computer and the technical side of it, I swap over to swapping out tackle, adding in plastics, refilling up. I don't keep, as you can see, I've got a lot of stuff off to the side. My bed's kind of a mess because I just threw it all over there, but I like to keep a certain select stuff in my tough crate and then keep everything else off to the side in the boat. That way, one, I'm not carrying a bunch, and two, if I run out of something, I know where it's at. So the next part of this video is pretty much just me going to be sorting through. I know what I want to throw. Me personally, as a fisherman, I'm what I classify a power fisherman, but I finesse fish a lot. So I work a shaky head really hard. I work a drop shot really hard. I work a stick bait really hard. I cover a lot of water with those, and those are not normally water covering baits, but that's how I fish. I'm more of looking for the bite. I'm not looking for a reaction strike. I'm not looking for a powerful, or do you want to call it a reaction strike. That's not really what I'm looking for. I look generally for the fish that I want to eat, because in a kayak I paddle all that way out. If I've got to work 20 minutes to get a fish to bite or hit a certain spot, more than likely it's going to be windy. This lake is, the average depth of this lake is like in the mid 60 feet. I don't have, my anchor doesn't go that deep, so I'm going to be at mercy of the wind. So I want to be able to set my kayak up, float down, and be able to hit spots as I get to them. I don't want to have to sit one place and work that bait for 20 minutes, not really 20 minutes, but 5 minutes to get a bite. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let y'all just see how I sort through everything. I'll put the camera in fast forward mode, that way you don't have to sit through it all, and show y'all how I sort through everything. I've had a lot of people ask me how I organize tackle. I have a lot of people ask me how I organize tackle in my tough crate. So it's one thing I'd want to show everybody and see what they say. So give me a moment, I'll get everything set up. So, first things first, the most asked question I get, or I see on Facebook in the kayak groups I'm a part of, or talking to any of the fishermen that I'm friends with and stuff, the biggest question that pops up for most anglers, even in a bass boat, is how do you store your soft plastics? I have found a way, for me anyway, that works brilliantly. It helps me stay really organized. I know where everything's at that I need to keep. And if I need to get to something quickly, I know where it's at. So I'm going to explain my setup as I'm organizing all this for this tournament, and see if that can kind of help other people. I know soft plastic organization is a major topic when it comes to kayakers, because everybody knows the number one thing that weighs down your kayak and weighs down your equipment is your soft plastic. So if you're just bringing everything you got, it's going to weigh you down. So, and then you got to sort through it all. I know a lot of guys use binders, and I personally don't like that at all. I feel like binders get really clunky. You got to have them spread out over your legs, searching through them all. With the way I've got it set up, I can look back behind my seat, open my crate, grab a bag knowing exactly what's in that bag, and then pick what I want. It's quick, it's efficient. I don't have to sort through 20 flaps to get to what I want to. I know everything that's in that bag. I pretty much immediately know where it's at in the bag, so I can just search through it real quick, grab it, put it back in the bag, close it. I don't risk losing anything. I don't risk dropping anything, and I am not worried. I'm not spending time sitting there fumbling around with stuff trying to fish. So, let me put this camera down and I'll show you how I got it set up a little bit. I have my bags. I pretty much have four bags. I have my stick bait bag. Like I said previously, I'm a huge stick bait fisherman. Senkos, shimmy sticks, however you want to call them. I have a bag especially set out for those. This bag goes with me no matter where I go. If I'm bank fishing, I throw this in my tackle backpack. If I'm fishing in the boat, this bag is always with me because I enjoy fishing fluke or stick bait and stuff like that. So I have that one bag. I also have a creature bag. Now this bag kind of changes in and out depending on what season it is. I had it set up real big for spawn fishing. These are all my creature baits. So my beaver baits are in here. I've got lizards in here. I've got brush hogs in here. These are all my creature baits that I would use for bedfish, that I would use to flip into heavy cover. So this is what this bag is designed for. Everything in here I have confidence in. Everything in here I know can catch fish. So this is my creature bait bag. The next bait bag I have is my trailer bag. So everything that's in this bag I can use as jig trailers. I've got grubs in here. I've got rage menaces in here. I've got rage craws in here. I've got another brand of grub, whatever that one is. But this is all jig trailers. So when I go to my bag, if I want to start throwing a jig, I can easily open up the bag, grab it out from behind me, grab out my rage craw. There it is. I can throw it on my jig real quick, throw it back in the bag, zip it up, throw it in the tackle box, and I ain't got to worry about it. It's quick, it's efficient. This is the way I like to do it. The last bag I have is my worm bag. Now, this is the bag that probably gets exchanged out the most because it depends on where I'm fishing at. The last tournament we had was at Gunnersville. I almost didn't use this bag at all because it was mid-April. I threw nothing but fluke or stick baits. So I keep wanting to say fluke and stick baits for some reason. It's not the same thing. But this is my worm bag, or any type of straight tail worm, shaky head worm, curly tail worms, anything that I can use as a worm is in here. So I keep all my Ned rig stuff in there. I keep all my like I said, drop shot stuff in there, shaky head stuff. So I want to start out, I'm going to set off all this to the side. I'm going to start back on my stick bait one, kind of sort through there, grab in. I need to replenish it because a lot of my stick bait bags have, like this one, only one stick bait left in it. It's the shimmy stick from Strike King. I need to fill these back up and add some more stuff in there, so that'll be the next thing I do. So the first bag we're going to start on is my worm bag. When it comes to organizing tackle, I like to, or organizing some of my soft plastics, I like to empty my bags first off completely. Just to give an idea of my bags, they're just gallon size Ziplocs. I prefer the zipper compared to the crinkles, the seal shuts, because I feel like these just hold up better. But I mean, there's nothing special about that. It's just a Ziploc. This is actually a hefty. It's just a hefty Ziploc bag. That's all it is. So I'm gonna look through all my worms right now and decide what I want to throw. I know this lake tends to be a little bit muddier. We've had a lot of rain here recently. So I'm gonna pack colors that are gonna show up in the mud. But I'm not gonna stray away from the natural colors either in case I find some clear water. A lot of reports say there's clear water. I'm kind of conflicted because we've had a lot of rain. I should expect to have some dirty water. So one flavor, or not flavor, but one color I love to have, always have on me, though, is a red bug color. This is a Zoom trick worm in red bug, so that's automatically going to be the first thing I put in the bag, because red bug for me works no matter what time of year it is. I can Texas rig this worm and it'll catch fish. I can put it on shaky head and it'll catch fish. It's kind of long to put on a drop shot, but if I feel like they're going to hit a drop shot, I can put it on that. It's a very versatile color. I have a lot of confidence in it. So, first one in the bag. So, and that's how I'm going to do all these. I'm going to look at it, If I don't feel like it's going to have a lot of confidence in it, I'm not going to put it in the bag. That's unnecessary weight. I'm not going to put multiples in the bag. I'm not going to have 2 bags of the same worm in there because I don't need it. It's unnecessary weight. So I'm just going to search through this. I'm going to shut up and just start doing it. I've also got my bags or my boxes over here. I'm going to search through all that. I got my worms and stick baits on top. That's the 2 boxes I'm going to do first. When I get done with those, I'm going to swap over to my creature and swim baits and keep on going. So I'm going to shut up, put the camera down, and get to work because this could take me 45 minutes to do. So I'm just going to get at it. And if I feel like I have something I need to say, I'll slow down the video and say it. If not, then you won't hear from me again until I get to the next bag. So that's the first bag done. Everything I feel like I'm going to need fishing on this lake, worm-wise, is in here. I've got curly tails, which I don't normally carry, but I feel like if I can find some medium shallow water, I may be throwing a Carolina rig. So I only throw curly tails on Carolina rigs. The only way I feel comfortable fishing them. I've got my drop shot weights, or my drop shot worms in there, and I've got all my stick bait or my straight tail worms in the bag. So when I throw this in the bag, if I need to grab a worm out real quick, I can pick it up, open it up, know pretty much where and how I've organized it so I can grab what I need to grab and grab it out, zip it back up, get all the air out of it, throw it back in the box, and then I'm done. I don't have to sort through 25 flaps to try to get to it in my if I had a binder. I'm not worried about dropping it because I mean it's only out of the tackle box for 5 minutes at most, so it's a really efficient, safe way that I've learned to come and love. And definitely all these bags, when you seal them right, are going to be airtight and watertight, so if it does fall out, it's just going to float right back to the surface. So that's why I haven't perfected it. I saw it off of line somewhere. I couldn't tell you where it was, so I give credit to whoever originally posted it on YouTube or wherever I saw it from. But this is something that I'm really proud of and really take pride in, is just my organization of my soft plastics, because there are guys that I know struggle on the water with this because they can't find stuff. Next thing I'm going to look at is my jig trails. So same process. I'm going to empty the bag out, look at what I have, decide on what I need, and keep on going. And I'll get back with you when I get done. So that one didn't take too long. I definitely need to make a run to the tackle shop because I am dangerously low on my rage tails. I'm good on my rage menaces and I'm good on my grubs, but I kind of like the action, the dual action of a rage tail. So I definitely need to run over to Buster's and grab some more rage tails. The second one the last one, or the third one I'm gonna do, sorry, is my creature bait one. So I'm done with this worm and stick bait bag. So box, I can go ahead and shut it up. Throw it back there. And now I've got my creature bait and swim baits. This is mostly just a lot of my craws and stuff. So, or I say craws. It's more of like the flipping baits and stuff like that. I'm a big flipper too. I love flipping and punching and pitching. Definitely have a kayak because so there's all my creature baits. I took out the lizards because I don't think I'll be fishing them any. But I added in some tubes. I don't normally fish a tube, but if they're hitting a soft plastic jerk bait, there's no reason why they shouldn't hit a tube. And I feel a lot more confident pitching a tube, so I can hide that weight and I can put it in different places. I added a couple more craws and creature bugs, and I added a couple different types of brush hogs, or those those bigger creature baits. So there's 3 out of the 4. The last one is my Cinco bag. This one I'm only going to change a little. This one I'm just going to pretty much just add my flukes to. I pretty much already have all the stick baits I need to add to this one. So this is pretty much just going to be me adding all my flukes. So I'm going to load up every fluke I own. I've got one thing that's 4 thing, and I've got second shad, I've got sprinkle, I've got small I've got white flukes, I've got chicken flukes, I've got fish flukes, I've got cinnamon flukes. So I'm going to add all my flukes to it. And then tomorrow, after I fish, if I feel like something didn't work or I feel like something I can change, I can always go back and take stuff out. So this is just for my pre-fish. This is how I plan for fishing tournament. So we'll see what happens. But I'm going to put all this back in the box, get everything prepped for the morning, clean off my bed, throw an extra couple of things in there, and we'll see what happens. See y'all.